This one is to all the ladies in the room. And stop right there. If you're a man, I didn't say you should get out. I didn't say that you will not learn. I'm just saying that this one is particularly targeted to the sisters, to the ladies in the room. For a long time, we struggled with identity. We struggle with self-worth. We struggle with validation, self-image, a lot of things. And today I've come to advise us all. I have come to give you some tips. 2026 is here. The year has started. Officially, we are no longer waiting. But now is the real deal. You need to make your year count. This year must be the best year you've ever had. It should be recorded that this year is your best of years. And I know that you screamed on the 31st that this year, it is my best of years. I decree and I declare. Now I've come to help you put that decree and that declaration into practice, into practical steps that will make the year actually better. You said it last year. Did you fulfill it? If you did not, this year you must fulfill it. You said it last year. If you did fulfill it this year, you must continue to fulfill it. So the theme of today is very simple. How to maximize your 2026. And it is the Sisters Talk. Hello, girl. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Leading with Glory. If this is your first time, please subscribe to the channel, like, share it with a friend, drop a comment. And if this is your first time again, this platform is called Leading with Glory. My name is Gloria Divine, and here we teach young people how to become leaders that God can trust and that men will want to follow. Today, I'm talking particularly to my ladies, to my gals, my sisters. So if you're a boy, please send it to a sister you know, send it to a friend that is a girl, send it to a daughter if you're a father, but send it. The first thing on our list for 2026 to be better is to know your self-worth. And I'll be talking as a sister talks to a sister. I have many sisters. We are 5 to my mother and father, but we grew up at 10 at home. A lot of cousins came in, and I always wanted sisters, so a lot of girls' cousins came in, and they became my sister, and that was sisterhood right there. Some are older than me, some got married, some are younger than me. But now I want to talk as the older sister and talk to you, my sister, today. Your self-worth is important. Girl, if your self-worth is missing, almost everything else is missing. When you look yourself in the mirror, what do you see? As I love saying, your actions are not just derived from your will. Your actions are not just enacted from your will, sometimes from your subconscious, and most oftentimes, your mindset decides your actions. You have belief systems, and your belief system produces mindset, and your mindset produces actions. So now I'm pointing at that belief system. In that belief system, how do you see yourself? Do you have a self-worth at all? Do you describe yourself as ugly? Do you describe yourself as nonsense, as stupid, as stubborn? How do you describe yourself? What is your self-worth? What is your self-identity? Do you know who you are? The first step to having a better year is to understanding yourself. Who are you? And changing that image into the image of the real you, of who you can be. Self-image is a term that we use nowadays, and oftentimes we miss the true essence of what self-image actually is. Self-image cannot happen if you lack self-worth. Having a good self-image comes from you knowing that your physical does not determine the whole essence of who you are. Your physique, the way you look, your shape does not capture the wholeness of your being. You are an entire human being. You are the smartest species on the earth. Let me tell you the truth, my girl, because I talk to a lot of sisters, a lot of girls, and they struggle with self-image. They struggle with self-worth. I am less of myself. No, you are valuable, you are enough, you are more, you are beautiful. And I will say this to my girls, please sometimes learn how to say I am beautiful to yourself. This tendency of always wanting people to tell you are beautiful, of always wanting people to validate your shape, validate your smartness, validate your ideas, validate this, validate that. That's one of the reasons why you often fall into relationships that lead you nowhere. You always fall in the trap of guys that will tell you exactly what you want to hear, but will not do the steps or the doings that need to happen because you lack self-worth. You are a whole human being. So this year, before you start thinking about which project will I be doing, before you start thinking about which action, which enterprise, which app will I create, which, my girl, sit down and look at yourself in the mirror and decide to love yourself and decide to value yourself and decide to put worth upon yourself and understand that there is worth. But remember, if you don't value yourself, nobody else will value yourself. If you don't value you, nobody else will value you. If you don't respect yourself by the way you dress, by the way you speak, by who you talk to, by the way you carry yourself, if you don't respect yourself, even in your thinking, your logic, in your belief system, it will translate directly into your actions, and people will know that you are not one that can be respected. That's not what you want for 2026 to be brilliant. That's not what you want if you are looking for some success. That's not what you want if you want to accomplish destiny or purpose. Start by putting value on yourself. There is this common thing about peer pressure. And I understand, but you see me, I cannot be pressured. Not because I've not been around people that can pressure, but because I have decided that I cannot be pressured. When I sit and I look at myself, I never look at myself with the present. I look at myself within 10 years, 20 years from now. Let me give you a tip. When I was growing up and I was in high school, especially from 5, from 6, from all of those classes, I had a reason to why I didn't want to date. And it's funny. And one of the reasons to why I didn't want to date at that time, especially high school, because I know it's in high school that there's a lot of peer pressure, you should get a guy, you should find a boyfriend. One of the reasons why I was almost never into those things was because I always thought to myself, what if tomorrow I now become the president of my country? And now that guy will be seated in this living room and will be like, I used to date that president. She said nobody. I was like, that cannot happen. Why? Because as I was sitting, I wasn't just thinking about me as the young high school girl with 7 cornrows on her head with her backpack going to school. When I looked at myself in the mirror, I saw someone that could literally become a president. And I carried myself as such, putting value on me, putting respect on me. When you start putting respect on yourself, when you start putting value, true worth that can be perceived, believe me, there are some people that will no longer come to your circle. There are people that will not even try toasting you. There are people that will not even try talking some nonsense to you. It's the same thing when you say, for example, that you are a believer and that you keep affirming that you are a believer. I am a Christian, I'm a Christian, I'm a Christian. At some point, some people will not even come to talk to you if it comes to stealing. If they are trying to go to the club, they will like, don't even tell that one. Her parents will not accept. Don't even tell her one. She's a Jesus girl, she will not go. You should love yourself so much that you put worth on it, to the extent that people, when they see you, they see the respect you have for yourself, and they cannot stop. They cannot stop but respect you. If you don't respect yourself, my sister, nobody else will. So this is the first advice I've come to give you for 2026. Put some worth on yourself. Sit down, write who you are, Your worth is not derived by a man. Your worth is not derived by peers. Your worth is not even derived by a group of girls being your friends. Your worth is not even described by the job you do. Your worth is not described by anything else but the fact that you are a human being. You are you and you are valuable. Know that, respect that, understand that, and carry yourself as such. And you realize that some of the things that used to come to you will start filtering themselves out. Some of the nonsense will start filtering themselves out. The second thing I want to advise you on, the second tip, is instant gratification. Flee from it. As much as you can, all of us have this thing in us where we want to achieve as much as we can within the smallest time frame. We all want speed, we all want bam, and it happens. But as much as you can, especially for things that necessitate process, flee instant gratification. Instant gratification is what I have seen takes some very brilliant girls with potential into the beds of older men for nothing more than pocket money. Because you didn't want to work for it. You wanted something sharp. Then you finish with it. You ended up having something. You ended up selling your dignity out for nonsense. Instant gratification. Instant gratification is also what I've seen push some girls to give up on some dreams. Like they had been doing this thing, if only they had pushed for 1 more month. You know, you are doing an activity, it's beautiful. If only you had pushed for a year. If only you had pushed this thing through for 5 years, by now that company that you thought about would have been established. That thing that you thought about, that idea, you know, that business, it would have been established by now and you would have been reaping the fruit. I did some farming when I was little, and they said that when you plant a banana tree, it can grow in a year. There are some trees that if you plant, they'll take 3 years to grow. But there was this particular tree that I wanted. And they say it gives good money. Like if you are doing a farm, industrial farming, it gives good money for that tree. And when I asked the amount of years, they told me it takes 7 to 10 years. I was like, what? 7 to 10 years? They were like, it's 7 to 10 years that you'll be able to reap the first fruit from this tree. If I plant this tree now, I'm sure in 10 years I'll have the fruit, provided all the circumstances are clear. But if I want instant gratification, I'll keep planting banana trees that takes a year. Sometimes I'll even go for, granite that take a few months. But I'll never be able to reap the same fruit. Instant gratification rips you away from the bountiful harvest that you possibly could have. Let's be honest, a business doesn't get established in 5 months. The business doesn't even get established in 2 years, not even in 3 years. It takes time. And that's why you should be able to pay the price for that time, for the process to take place. God might give you speed, but the process will not stop itself. The process will still happen. So instant gratification is not a skill you should carry along in 2026. It's something you should flee away from. If you have a mindset that favors and reverse instant gratification, I'll advise you to drop it now. If you want to go far in 2026 and even in life beyond this year, instant gratification, it kills, it destroys you. You just started a friendship, but you want that person to give you their everything. Do you not know that even in friendships, in relationships, in everything, there are depths? It's the more you know somebody that you can trust them, there are depths into this thing, but you just met, bang, you want the person to clear the account for you. Does that make sense? And when they don't give you the kind of help that kind of depth requires, you get mad. Instant gratification. You reach out to somebody on LinkedIn, the only reason is to get a job in 1 month. If they don't give you a referral for their job, you no longer talk to them. You never say thank you. Why? Instant gratification. You didn't think far ahead to think that in 3 years, that might be the connection that helped you get another job. In 2026, my girl, flee away from instant gratification. The next tip that I have for you is to get something doing. Get something that you are doing. Do something. Your self-worth is not tied to what you do. Your self-worth is not tied to your job, but you need to do something. I see a lot of people sitting around and waiting for the opportunities to come. And even when the opportunities come, we have to beg them. Like, I was doing mobile app development call out for volunteers and all of that. And it was a chance for people. And I said in my message, especially the girls, so, because I know that women, young girls are underrepresented in the tech field, that if you have passion for Firebase or Flutter Flow, apply. You want to know the truth? Most of the people that applied were men. Where were the girls? We wait, we sit, we analyze, we think, should I not? Just do it. Just apply. Just decide to get something doing. It shouldn't always be about your hair, and it shouldn't always be about your dress, and it shouldn't even always be about your emotions or your comfort. Sometimes go out of all of that, forget about all of that, and get something doing. I once saw a woman on the TV. It was on the news, national news, that was riding Okada. She was riding a bike as a daily job, and it went on the news. You want to know why it was on the news? Because almost no other girl or woman would try to earn a living that way. Why? If it's a decent paying job, if it's a godly job, if it is ethical, why do we not see the women there? Because sometimes we love the comfort too much. So please, I want to plead with you, get something doing. In 2026, do something. You are having a degree, you are trying to get a bachelor's, you're trying to get a master's, you're trying to finish from high school. While you are doing that, get something doing. It can be trying to get another certification. It can be trying to gain practical skills. Can you volunteer somewhere? Can you get a part-time job somewhere? We sometimes romanticize the types of jobs, but sometimes even selling in a market earns you the sales job. Do you know that if you are going to apply for a sales job or position in a company and you really sold in the market, in a boutique or something like that, that's experience. Don't trivialize the experiences you have. Don't trivialize the opportunities you have to grow. Get something doing. Make your hands dirty. You can be a mechanic. Yes, it's possible. You can be a public speaker. Yes, it's possible. You can learn how to do that. So get something doing. Do something with your life. Get a work. Get something that will teach you practical skills that usually school does not teach you. The next point that I want to make you understand is that hard work is still important. You should be willing to work hard. I know they say smart work over hard work, but that does not remove the fact that you will have to work. This thing of wanting to get everything easy is not realizable. It's not something that can be attained. It's not sustainable. Hard work still needs to be part of your skills. Hard work, the ability to work under pressure still needs to be one of the things that drives you. It should be a skill that you try learning. So do not be scared to work hard this year. Do not be scared to try as much, to push until it is delivered. Do not be scared of that. And I also want to say, do not be scared of putting yourself out there. You feel like you don't have the skill set, apply. You see an organization that seems like they are not recruiting volunteers, email them and be like, I want to volunteer. Is there a possibility? Leverage all the skills and assets you have. Leverage all the networkings and connections you can make and already have to put yourself out there and to get something doing. The illusion that tomorrow will be better without a job being done today is total lie. It's so much of a lie that I don't know how deceptive it needs to be for you to understand that it's a lie. Your tomorrow cannot be better without you putting in the seeds today, because a harvest without planting is an illusion. It doesn't happen. I think this is number 5, and I will say be ambitious. Girl, you can be ambitious. You can do it. There is nothing that you can set your mind on that you will not be able to achieve. The problem is that often than not, you don't set your mind on it. You don't. You have the capacity to think and birth it and make it happen. You have the capacity to do it. You know, when we talk about the womb of the woman, sometimes we talk about the fact that it's for children, but sometimes I like to think about it as is the capacity for you to take a seed and birth it and form it and then push it out to the world. Why don't you do the same thing with ideas? Why don't you, in a very ambitious way, create projects, create organizations, deliver things, try new things, be ambitious, have a vision that drives you, have a purpose that carries you. It doesn't have to be something complicated for your whole lifetime, but for 2026 at least, be ambitious. Expand your mind. And when you start expanding your mind, start looking for those people who are doing the things that you feel like you want to do. You want to go into public speaking? Start looking at people that do very excellent public speaking. Those ladies that do it, even the men that do it, and start copying them. Start learning from them. You want to start an organization? Who in your community started one that you really admire? Start. You want to pray more. Who are the people that are praying more? Become their friends. Be ambitious and let the drive of the ambition, let the vision that you set before you drive you to take concrete steps and actions toward that. When God called Abraham, he said, as far as your eyes can see. As far as your eyes can see. That's how far you'll be willing to put in the action for it to happen. But also, as far as your eyes can see, that's how far your helpers can help you. That's how far your helpers can help you. So be ambitious, girl. You have it in you. You have the capacity to do it. You have the capacity to dream big and think big and make it come to pass. So use it. Don't waste that capacity. I think there's number 7. And number 7 tip I'll give you for 2026 is do not be obsessed about marriage. I know this will come. I just hope that you will not beat me up. But the truth is that a lot of times, a lot of girls are obsessed about marriage. And it's that obsession that number 1 will not give them the marriage, and number 2 will not give them any other thing in their life. Sometimes it's that conception that I need a man to be a woman. I need a maid to be a helpmate. There's that conception that if this thing does not happen this year, I am no longer myself. I have plans that by 25 I'll marry. My sister, calm down. If you are obsessed about marriage, that's not a healthy relationship with a marriage. We are to love, not to be obsessed. It's not a bad thing, but obsession is a bad thing. Think about it. In movies, when there was a guy that loved a girl, they will say that he's a nice guy. But when there is a guy that is obsessed by a girl, what do we say? That he's harassing her. Why? Because obsession in itself is not a good emotion. It's not a good state to be at. Obsession makes you believe that without that thing, you are no longer yourself and you can no longer move forward. Obsession is like a block road that blocks you from every other thing that is good around you. Obsession makes you blind to the fact that you are actually an entity on your own. And it's the same with obsessing about marriage. This thing that you are obsessed about will make you blind to the fact that this is the time for you to prepare. This is the time for you to build yourself. This is the time for you to love yourself. This is the time for you to understand that you are you because you are you and not because of a person. Here's my tip to you. Have a healthy relationship with the idea of marriage. And do not be obsessed about it. Especially where I come from, I know by 22 girls are obsessed about it. They're like, I must. So every prayer point now is marriage. Can you not pray a little bit more for kingdom come? Can you not pray a little bit for professional development? Can you not develop yourself? Can you not love your siblings a little bit more? Do not be obsessed about marriage. Obsession in itself is not a healthy relationship to have. My number 8 advice to you is to accept low seasons. And it may not seem like, but accept low seasons. The truth is that life usually is a roller coaster, especially in the beginnings, especially when you are just starting to be a young adult, just graduating from high school, college, university, and all of that. There are seasons that will feel like you are not achieving anything. There are seasons where you feel like, Kai, my work is not amounting to much. I'm not where I wanted to be. And it's legit. You'll feel some pain, but you need to accept those low seasons. And from now, I want to prepare you that it will not always be a smooth ride. Sometimes there'll be breaking that will happen. Sometimes there'll trials that will happen. Sometimes testimonies will happen. Sometimes breakthroughs will happen. And then you have to learn how to manage the breakthrough. And you have to learn how to not break under it. And then you feel stressed. And then you feel like you're overwhelmed. And then you're okay, you're happy. And then before... That happens especially in the early years. When you are still trying to pick up, when you are still trying to live on your own, when you are still trying to figure out life. So accept low seasons. Accept that there will be seasons where you'll be putting in the work and not seeing results. Accept that that will happen so that when it happens, you don't quit because you are not seeing an instant result. Accept that there will be seasons where friends might not be responding to your calls minute by minute. Accept that. Accept that. For example, I'm shooting this during my final exam week. I understand that if I get out of this place and I call a friend, they might not pick up. Why? Because they are studying. But some of you now, if you call somebody and they don't answer, it's like they don't love me. They don't love me. They hate me. No. Accept that there are low seasons in life. There are seasons that will feel low. But sometimes they are not even low for. Because sometimes those low seasons are what sponsors and sustain the high seasons. The background usually sustains the front ground. Even in computer science, there is back end, there is front end. The back end is usually the most important. The front end is what is appealing, but it takes some back end to produce that result. So please accept that there will be low seasons. Accept that there will be back end seasons. Accept that there will be background seasons where you might not be seen, you might not be recognized, you might not be celebrated, you might not even feel like you are doing something, you might not even hear as clear as you want to hear. But accept that those are part of life and be well with it. Number 9 on my list. You want to maximize your year as a girly, I will say have boundaries and enforce boundaries. Some of us have boundaries and we don't enforce them. Some of us do not even have the boundaries to say that we're enforcing them. If you are trying to have a better year, build a successful life, have boundaries. You should have a time at which you don't pick calls. You should have a time at which you don't check emails. I try really hard to not check my email the first thing I wake up. I don't do that. Why? Because I realize that it's a boundary. My email cannot command me that much that you wake up at 3 a.m. check email. But some of you are doing that with some socials. Some of you are doing that with some other thing. You have a boundary that you have to put in place. We talk about envy, we talk about jealousy. How does it happen? Sometimes it happens because it didn't have a boundary. You allow the success of that person to breach the boundary of your peace of heart. Now because they got a job, now because they are successful, because they posted on social media, now it is paining you so much that you lost your peace of mind. Why? Because it didn't have a boundary in place. Set boundaries. Set boundaries with people. Set boundaries with friends. Set boundaries with strangers. Set boundaries with yourself. There are things you should not do to yourself. I don't insult myself. And believe me, there are days I really, really want to insult myself. But I said I will not insult myself. So I do not insult myself. It is a boundary. But some of you will say all the most negative things to yourself and appreciate others with all the most beautiful compliments because you lack boundaries. If you want to succeed this year, have boundaries. Have boundaries between your work life and your life at home. Have boundaries between your academics and your career life. It's two different things. We often think that academics is the same thing as career. I've seen people that study psychology and end up working in like pharmaceutical. They studied how to be, painting, English literature, and ended up being known for profit, or ended up, I don't even know. You see people that studied computer science and ended up doing a business type of job. People that study marketing and they do something entirely different that has nothing to do with their degrees. So your academics is not for, say, your career. So have boundaries. Have boundaries between your outside world and the inside world. And the inside world is usually your inner peace. Protect your inner peace, girlie. Protect your mental health. Protect yourself. Protect you. It is important. Dissociate the outside, and the outside includes your work. It includes the worries of life. It includes the goals. It includes, and keep the you sanctified. Have boundaries. The number 10 on my list, and the last thing I want to talk about today, if you want to maximize your year, trust in God and pray. Build spiritual capacity. We are limited as human beings, all of us. There are times that a situation happens where if it's not for God, you will faint. The Bible says that men ought always to pray and not to faint. That means that prayerlessness is not a term in the kingdom, it's fainting. It is either you are connected with God or you're on life support. It is either you are connected with God or you are fainting. It is either you are connected with God or you're on your own. And in this journey of life, you better have somebody. You better have God on your side. So as you are doing all the strategic plans to learn new skills, put boundaries, redefine your self-worth, find your identity in Christ, all of those beautiful things, remember to seek God. Remember to seek the author and finisher of your faith. Remember to seek that person that will give you ideas wider than what you ever have thought of dreaming of thinking about. Remember of seeking God, the one who knows the end from the beginning. There is no substitute for prayer. I have learned it the hard way. There is no substitute for seeking God for yourself. And if you are not a Christian, this is the moment where I literally pause and tell you, you are missing a lot. There is so much treasure in the kingdom of God. There is so much treasure in Him. It is in Him that we move and that we find our being. You cannot really understand your identity until you come into understanding God, where you find yourself, because He reveals you to you. So if you're not a Christian, that's the time where I will say, you can DM me. This is the one where I give you permission. Comment and I'll reply this one. And DM me, and it will be my pleasure to lead you to Christ. Because it's the best of life you can ever have. But in case you already know about Jesus and you're a believer, do not leave God because you are seeking every other thing. Do not leave God because you are seeking a career. There is not a choice to be made. You should seek God and you should work hard. But in terms of priority, God comes first. But there is wisdom that is available to make sure that you give to God what is to God and you give to Caesar what is to Caesar. That is, that you give to God the time, the presence, the understanding, the knowledge, seeking Him. But you also work hard, because it takes both. He's never one. He's ever ready to bless and ever ready to give and ever ready to upgrade and ever ready to elevate. But there is a consistency that must take place in hard work as well. There is an effort you must play. Your role is there. And if you don't play, you won't see it. So this was for my girls. And I hope that sister to sister, from my heart to your heart, that you understood what I meant today. That this year must be better. And there are a lot of things that must change for this year to be better. There are a lot of things that you must think through for this year to be better. I started with your self-worth, understanding who you are, understanding that you are worth much, and that you should carry yourself with worth. You should carry yourself with value. You should carry yourself with respect. Through the way you dress, through the way you speak, through the people you associate with, through the things you listen to, through the things that you do behind closed doors and even in public. All of that, you should carry yourself at every time in a moment with respect. And that's how I started with your self-worth. And I'm finishing with God. Because you can always find and only find your true self in God. He is the one who will reveal to you your true identity. That will make you stand above peer pressure, stand above depression, and stand above all the things that are happening nowadays, all the social media freaking out. He's the one that can help you. So if you forget about all the other things in the middle, hold these two very strong to you. Number one, fight for your self-worth. Fight for it. Carry yourself with dignity. Carry yourself with ambition. Carry yourself with vision. And number two, carry God. Seek God. As you are building whatever you are building, seek God. I wish you, all my girls and ladies and sisters, a happy new year. Let this year bring joy, prosperity, love, care, self-worth, deeper seeking of God, everything that we could hope for. But most importantly, I would say I really pray that you don't just wish for things, but that you labor for them as well. Don't just wish. I pray they become manifestations. It was nice having you again. This was Leading with Glory, the place where young leaders, young people like you and I are made to be leaders that God can trust and that men want to follow. Subscribe, share with a girlie, share with a sister, a friend, or even a boy. They'll benefit from it. And also drop a link and like. Have a great day.